Morning class, I'm Will Kemp from Will Kemp Art School and this is part 1 in a free series showing you how to get started in acrylic landscape painting. We're going to start with this image. You can download it straight from my website and I'm going to show you how to make this. How to get this painting from the photograph so you can do it yourself at home. On the website I've got a list of all the colours you need, the brushes that I use, but this video is just how to get started, get your drawing laid out, so you can create a lovely landscape like this to hang on your wall at home. So step 1 in starting this landscape painting is to block out your canvas to put a colour ground onto it so that you can work your paintings on top. I've already done that here and you can watch a how to do it video on my how to apply a colour ground for acrylic painting video. Okay, the second step is to draw out the basic shapes that we've got here. We're just after the line drawing. I'm using a 3B pencil here, which can be easily erased. It won't smudge too much, yet it's dark enough to make a mark. See how it's fairly easily it makes a mark onto the canvas without feeling that you have to really press it into it, you know, and dent the canvas. So a quick tip to make sure you get, you know, a nice horizontal is just to use a piece of scrap paper and you line up this edge to the edge of your canvas. So it's like a set square really. So there, line that up. So step 2 is to assess the tones that we've got in the picture to see where to start and where are the lightest and dark areas. So the first thing to do is to squint your eyes at this picture. Are they squinted? Half close them just so everything slightly blurs a bit. What you'll find this does is it makes the darks look darker, the lights look lighter, and all these what are called half tones kind of disappear. What you really get to is the basic structure of the picture, and that's what we're interested in. So for this, the darkest area is this area here of the land, so that's what I'm going to painting to start with the burnt umber. All the information on the brushes that I use and how to choose a brush for acrylic painting is on my other video, or a list of materials is on my website. So notice how when I'm painting, I'm resting onto the canvas, which helps you give leverage and support, so you can, with the finer lines, it's a lot easier to get a straighter line than if you're hovering your hand in the air trying to balance it. So once I've got that in, I'm now going to swap to this brush to block in that area. The paint that I've got on here, because acrylics dry so quickly, you want to make sure you get that off, otherwise it will go solid on your brush and you won't be able to use it. So I'll dip it into some water and then, you know, rub it into the kitchen roll. You get through loads of kitchen roll with acrylic. And then just squeeze it at the end, and you see how if I put that on there, nothing comes out. It's, you know, completely clear. That's just with, you know, plain water. It's always better to have more water and change it regularly than use the same pot. It get mucky, and then what will happen is that all that dirt in your water pot will come into your colours when you're mixing, and you won't get a nice clean colour. Even though we're using brown, it's still good to keep it clean. It's good professional working habits. Okay, so now with the filbert brush, okay, as simple as that. I often paint around the edge for my paintings, so I'll paint around here. And you notice how I haven't been too heavy-handed. You can still see some of this underground glowing through, and that's really nice. And I've left little bits where I'm not being completely solid because I want a bit of texture, a bit of movement in this area. So that's all I do for this particular painting with the burnt umber. Now I'll put in some of the highest highlights, the brightest area, which are going to be, when we look at the picture, they're going to be, these area here where the sun is, shining through. So this, I'm just going to use titanium white. So now with the titanium white, I'm just going to, again, block in the very brightest areas. See how I'm keeping it quite loose and, quite watery? You'll notice if you're not using an artist quality titanium white, it won't be as thick as this. It'll be a lot more translucent and you might have to use a couple of layers. When you're first starting with acrylics, I always advise buying the best quality paints you can afford. If you can't afford to go artist quality of everything, definitely try and invest in an artist quality white, because it will have so much more opacity. It will be able to, you see how it's covered over the colour underneath very easily. This will be really, really beneficial in your future paintings. There's a slight bit of lightness down here, but not as strong as the others, so I'll just dilute it with a bit of water and then just scrub it in with my finger. So now we've got the lights and the darks. Now we can go back to the colours that we were mixing before to start blocking in some of the areas of colour.